คุณผู้ชมครับมาถึงช่วง News Pop กันแล้วครับเราจะมาอัปเดตข่าวสารในแวดวงภาพยนตร์กันสักนิดนึงกับทุกข่าวสารทุกสิ่งของหนังของทุกคนที่ Pop ครับและต้องบอกเลยนะครับว่า News Pop ในสัปดาห์นี้เนี่ย Exclusive สุดๆเลยครับเพราะว่าผมมีบทสัมภาษณ์ที่ส่งตรงมาจากอินโดนีเซียเลยนะครับกับผู้กำกับภาพยนตร์เรื่อง Impetigore นั่นเองครับคุณโจโกอันวอร์ครับเอาเป็นว่าตอนนี้ไม่เสียเวลาแล้วครับเราไปคุยกับเขาเลยดีกว่าOkay, first of all, I would like you to say Sawasdee Krap and then introduce yourself to all the Thai fans.
Sawasdee Krap, my name is Joko Anwar. I made a film called Impetigore. It is going to be screened in Thailand cinemas. I will be glad if you go see the film.
Okay. Firstly, I would like to congratulate you on the movie to be filmed in Sundance Film Festival. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, so Impetigore, it's really like really hard to come by, like the word Impetigore. What does it mean actually?
Well, Impetigore is a word that I invented for the film. It's not there before we made this film. Impetigore, well, there is a word Impetigore. Impetigore without the RE in the end is a kind of disease, skin disease. It's not very common, but people who have Impetigore, they get their skin peeled. So Impetigore is like the very severe case of Impetigore plus curse. So
I see. Wow. Okay, so what is your inspiration on this movie?
When I was a kid, when I was 10 years old, my brother told me that shadow puppets were made from human skin, and I got nightmares since then, even when I was an adult. So this story really comes from my nightmare from when I was a kid.
So yeah. I've heard that this movie, it's like your love letters to all the horror movies that you've been growing up watching. So why is that?
Yes. Indonesians are very rich in horror films back then, in the 70s and 80s. I grew up in the 80s, and back then there are so many horror films, and the most common genres of horror films in Indonesia back then are supernatural, ghost story, psychological thriller, and body horror. So these three subgenres of horror I want to combine in one film and make it as a love letter to all those Indonesian horror films that I grew up with.
And I've known that from your background, you loved doing horror films so much.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Why would you choose horror films?
Horror film is very honest. I think it's the most honest genre in films. Horror films were made purely to give sensation to the audience while watching it. Horror films were made to give a ride to the audience without any pretension. So that's why I love horror films, because it's very pure and very honest.
So the audience gonna get like scary sensation. And do you have anything else that was put in the movie for the audience to get out from this movie?
Yeah. Well, I believe that every movie has to have characters that people can relate to, and people have to root for the characters to make the films work, especially horror films. So it's not going to be scary if people don't care about the characters. So characters and story is still going to be the main dish of films.
Right, and this movie is about family and going back to her hometown.
Yeah, my films, all of them have very prominent family theme, because I just love watching films about families. Either they're functional or dysfunctional. I think family dynamics are the most interesting thing to see, because I love going to, as a kid, I love going to my friend's house and just see how they communicate with each other within the family, and I always fascinated by different dynamics of family.
Right.
So that's why in all my films I always have that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. So what makes this movie different from your other movies that you have done before?
Oh, my horror films prior to Impetigore is a supernatural horror and South of Slaves it's called. I think it's also was screened in Thailand. It has a lot of jump scares, but in Impetigore it's not going to be relying on jump scares. It's going to be relying on terror, which come from the horrific situations and gruesome story.
Have you ever seen any Thai ghost movie before?
I watch a lot of Thailand horror films, especially in the early 2010s. There are so many great horror films.
Well, what is your favorite ones?
Yeah.
What is your favorite ones?
I love Alone. I think all Thai horror films in the early 2000s and 2010s, they're all great.
All right, if you have a chance to do some other genre of movie, not the horror film, what would it be?
I've made 9 films so far, and my horror films only 2.
Ah, okay.
So my first film was a comedy, my second one was a film noir, my third film was a psychological thriller, also made drama. So because I'm a film buff and I love all kinds of genres, so that's why I want to do all kinds of genres.
Very nice. All right, lastly, I want you to invite all the Thai fans to come see the movie.
Hi horror fans, please go to the cinema and watch this movie that I made called Impetigore. I promise you it's going to be a ride of your life. So go watch it in cinemas on the big screen.
All right, thank you so much.